I like Stephen A. and I've always gotten along with him. I didn't love how he handled the aftermath of you leaving, where it's basically like, I told you the show would be better. I just thought, because I think you're really talented. Now, you and I have known each other for a while. Whether it meshed as a show perfectly, I don't know the answer to that, but I just didn't think that was the right way to handle it.
Of course, you guys can watch this on Bill Simmons Network, but very smooth questioning by Bill Simmons. You know, I like Stephen A. Smith. I always got along with him. No beef with him. But I didn't like how he handled the scenario with you.
If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person, why would you want me as a partner?
Oh, what?
That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. You know, it's embarrassing, you know.
So you think that was part of it? He didn't want to put the time in? Or like just wanted a different type of show? What's your take looking back 2 years later?
I don't think it has to do with put the time in. It's, you know, it's a debate show.
You're ready to roll on all topics.
You want to like if you're, I have an idea. This is what I want to put on TV. I want to spar Bud Crawford every day for 15 rounds, and I want everyone to see it. Eventually, you're going to say, I don't want to do that anymore.
Then you bring in some other people in a rotating cast.
Yeah. I mean, that's one aspect of it. There are others. In other words, that's what I could tell you from my point of view.
Yeah.
And I also think that if you make a calculation.
Oh, before that calculation. So he's saying he was so great at debating that Stephen A. Smith couldn't handle it. That's what he's saying right now. If we're going to react to this reaction here. Stephen A. Smith couldn't handle Max Kellerman as a debate partner. That's what he's saying. A lot of fans feel this way too. I don't feel that way. I feel like Stephen A. Smith just wanted the same spark that he had with Skip Bayless, regardless of how that chemistry is. You heard Fleet say the other day that we got chemistry on screen, you know, here on ALLBALL TV. You can't pay for it. You can't fix it. You know, Max in his own right did his thing. Stephen A. Smith came up in his own right doing his own thing. You just can't match two people together and get chemistry. But what he's saying is what Marcellus Wiley is saying, and a lot of other people feel, that Stephen A. really couldn't handle Max Kellerman as a debate partner, especially once you get to politics and stuff like that. But, you know, the crux when these sports and when it comes to sports, I think Stephen A. played a part that was more so the wrestling aspect of just debate and, you know, barbershop talk. And it's more about being charismatic. And I don't think Max Kellerman is a super charismatic dude like that. Likeable. He's very likable, but the charisma that Stephen A. Smith comes with has way more to do with just being bombastic and, you know, controlling a mic in a wrestling ring, per se. But this is interesting that he would even go this route and talk about this.
That if you can be perceived as a solo act, really, that you can get paid at a certain level that you can't if you're not a solo act, then you'd like to be a solo act, or at least perceived that way.
Well, so like Mike and the Mad Dog are a good example of a show where it was the two of them together for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, whatever happened. Mike got his own show and he stayed on top for
Do you know who was supposed
6,
to be?
7
Do you know
years.
who he wanted to be in
Mad
Dog's
call?
new position? Oh, yeah, that was the plan. I was supposed to go over and work with Mike, yeah.
Interesting. Because I got the call. Who else got the call?
I don't know, but we had like come to an understanding.
So you're going to leave ESPN and do it?
I did leave ESPN.
But not to do a show with Mike.
Yeah.
You did the show with Mike?
No.
So what happened?
I think my interpretation of what happened, my analysis is, I think he realized at a certain point, they're not going to make me take a partner. Why should I take a partner? Because I'm beating the hell out of the guys across town by myself. I think when he thought they're going to make me take a partner, then it was like, okay, well, I'd like it to be with that guy. And then when it was like, I don't need a partner.
Yeah, that's too bad though, because I actually think he long term he did.
So he's saying that with Mad Dog or Mike and the Mad Dog in New York, which was like a very big. It was like first take before first take on the radio in New York. It pioneered New York as well as this debate show on CNN. Like that's what these are the things that preceded first take. You know, even PTI, and you know, for him to say that he was supposed to work with Mike and the Mad Dog, who separated from Mad Dog. I forgot what their breakup was about. It's probably with money. Or maybe they were sick of each other. Who the hell knows? But he's saying that he could have had a show with Max Kellerman, but why should I do a show with Max Kellerman if I'm already killing the competition and getting paid? Like, why would I include you and you may out debate me like you did Stephen A. Smith? Like, is that Max Kellerman? Yo, listen, Max Kellerman got an ego too, man. This guy thinks he's LeBron. He just called himself the Bud Crawford of debaters, and Bud Crawford and Floyd Mayweather got paid a lot of money, bro. They got the Stephen A. Smith check, even though you got paid to debate and get for 2 years, and you got paid to just disappear from TV. But I don't view Max Kellerman as a Bud Crawford of debating. I like Max Kellerman, but this is a little overzealous here with your opinion about yourself.
You need a partner because it's always good to have people to play off of.
Look, I don't need a partner either.
No,
but I like having one because I find conversations more interesting than just talking into the wind, you know?
So over the years, you had Brian Kenny.
Yeah. Jim Lampley, Marcellus Wiley.
Marcellus for a while.
I had great partners. And in fact, I've become good friends with the people I work with because I like, Bill, you know better than anybody. We're getting away with it. If you're in this business, you're getting away with it. Shh, pocket them. Shh, we're talking about sports.
Right.
And like,
you'd be doing this anyway.
Come on. It's your job as a guy, like an average American guy. It's your job to follow sports. It's like literally what you have to do. You have no choice in the matter, right? You got to find out what's going on. And so how to make that experience even better? Hang out with your friends and talk about sports, right? Like, why would you not want to do that?
Right.
It's interesting because Stephen A. was the one partner I've ever had over like years.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel like a relationship was really forming. And I like to go to work and you know.
You could feel a little bit watching it. And it was hard to tell how much of it was theater and how much of it was like, oh, these guys just don't get along in the same way, or
whatever you feel about who you're working with and what the situation is. To me, a cardinal sin is betraying that on the air.
So there it goes right there. So Max Kellerman admits that Stephen A. Smith is a yellow belly coward. That's what he's saying. He's a yellow belly coward. You didn't like me off the air. Cool. Me and you are not going to be friends. Invited to my barbecue, invited to your barbecue, none of the above. Cool. But we still got a show to do. They paid us to get on that show, to go on television, and to make this magic work, to make something happen no matter what. But instead, because you didn't like me and it's not going however you wanted to go, you took it personal, and now you're sabotaging the whole thing. Like, you're going on here and you're like making me look bad, and it was intentional. So Max Kellerman, everything everybody said was true. Stephen A. Smith was sabotaging him, and you could tell, like, there was a lot of friction between them on screen, and the way Stephen A. Smith would talk to Max Kellerman was just like, you know what, Max Kellerman, I would think he would punch you in the face. He doesn't seem like someone that wouldn't punch you in the face. Excuse me, but it seemed like Max Kellerman took the high road, and now he's in his, super Vulcan mode now. He's just so, I'm exquisite, and I speak the King's English kind of vibes. And I don't know, man. If you had this smoke, this is what I don't like. If you got this kind of smoke for him now, where was it back then? On screen, on First Take. You should have brought this same kind of smoke. This is what Stephen A. Smith was actually looking for. I think now that Max Kellerman is talking, it sounds kind of cowardly for my man Max Kellerman. Because if you had this real kind of smoke for Stephen A. Smith, you should have brought it on air, on screen, and give him what he wanted. Because that's what I think Stephen A. Smith wanted, essentially. He wanted to pull that out of you. Because now I can see it. I like Max Kellerman. He's cool. but he didn't want to get engaged in the wrestling aspect of debating, the barbershop aspect of it, for whatever reason. But they needed a blow up or two, and it seemed like Stephen A. Smith was sick of not getting it or the way he wanted to. And he was trying to embarrass Max Kellerman when Max Kellerman said, yo, I'll give Andre Iguodala the ball on the Golden State Warriors, which I agreed with, by the way. Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, these are guys that can get an easier shot than Steph Curry. Steph Curry is known as the greatest shooter of all time, right? But I'm giving the ball to Luka before Steph Curry in crunch time because he's a bigger guy, like just logically speaking. So you see Stephen A. on set trying to laugh at Max Kellerman with Isaiah Thomas on the same set, and Stephen A.'s always looking for a cosign. He's looking to try to make you look like that's what he was doing. He was playing the antagonist or protagonist and trying to make you look a certain way. But you should have brought this same smoke that you have right now for him on First Take and way more aggressive. I don't like this passive behavior. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm not saying that I could have done it in real time, but it's your job to go do your job. Do your job, man. Max Kellerman, I'm not feeling this, baby bubble.
Should always be thinking about making the show entertaining.
Right.
And I do think it reached the point on that show where it was like, come on, dude, we the first priority is to make good TV.
Well, good TV is like professional wrestling, right?
Right.
Both guys have moves. You guess so the other guys move.
Of course.
And I think we've all been in situations who've done this where you're with somebody who or on a bigger show where people either selling your moves or they're not.
Right. Exactly right. But he's a showman. Like he would. I never had to worry about when the little red light came on that it wouldn't be a show, but it would be like you don't want to be undermined. You know.
Is that a fun show to do? Like, did you like doing? What was it? 2 hours a day of just.
You don't want to be undermined. See, I think that's where he messed up at. I think that's what Max Kellerman messed up at big time because he took it personal, and I think it wasn't. It can be undermining, of course, but I think Stephen A. took a lot of things personally. Also, where T.O. went on there and said, "Yo, Max Kellerman's blacker than you," and if Max Kellerman really wanted to do that show, it would have to have been in a way where it was like, can I do it this way? Because that means that he's going to undermine you, and you may feel like you're trying to undermine him by countering him, but it's just not the case. Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless have made the most ridiculous takes of all time. Stephen A. Smith is not really a basketball expert. He is often wrong. He doesn't even watch basketball. They literally caught him playing solitaire while watching an NBA game. They took a screenshot of him or a video of him playing solitaire while he's at a game. He's known to be a journalist and reporter. This is what his credentials say. Then he thought he was being funny, and he tried to get a solitaire deal recently that was really a scam or something like that, allegedly. And ESPN had to cancel that association with Stephen A. Smith and a bunch of ESPN dudes because Stephen A. Smith tried to make a joke out of the fact that he was playing solitaire instead of doing his damn job, which is to report on the basketball game, which he doesn't do, and he never did. He's a fake-ass basketball fan. He's really a groupie, and he wants to be a celebrity. It's Kim Kardashian-esque, but his talent is that he undermines people, smart people, and people that think they're the Floyd Mayweather of debaters in Max Kellerman. And he said he doesn't want to be undermined. Also, it didn't really help that Stephen A., the way he went about reacting to the Max Kellerman firing or letting go of, he really lied. Stephen A. really lied afterwards, and he said that he had nothing to do with Max Kellerman being fired. He had nothing to do with it. That's what how he initially responded to Max Kellerman moving away from First Take. Then, after some time passed, Stephen A. Smith admitted that he went to the office, or when they spoke to the office, and they asked him about Max Kellerman, and there was conversations about it. He said, yeah, you could keep him, but I won't be around. He gave him an ultimatum. And then we're talking about someone who brags about having Bob Iger's phone number, who's been in a helicopter with Bob Iger on television, the owner of Disney, the owner of or CEO of Disney, who was brought back to help ESPN get back together before they lose shareholders or whatever the hell it is going on in the corporate style of things. He's close friends, or he's friends with Dana White. He helped Dana White when Dana White was involved in some domestic disputes, allegedly, that were caught on video. He helped that guy out. Why is that? Because he knew Dana White is in contract with ESPN. I think that contract is up in the air now because they're supposed to be signing a deal with CBS or whatnot. And ESPN has a deal with the NFL, which is why they don't talk too much trash about the NFL. WWF is now, which is now WWE. The wrestling thing is now with ESPN. So you'll see how Stephen A. Smith treats those guys, the power heads or the power figures of those companies, of a WWE, CBS and a Dana White, the NFL. He will never undermine them. Ever. He will never speak to them like he spoke to Max Kellerman on the screen, because he views them as partners for some odd reason. Listen, maybe Disney, ESPN, in his contract and Stephen A's contract, he has stock options and probably has some equity in ESPN. I would have to believe that he does, but I don't think that's the smartest thing in the world, because what does that mean at the end of the day? I mean, it's free money if you sell it. Hopefully he put it in his Roth IRA. Hopefully he exercises them in his Roth IRA. But I digress. I don't like Max Kellerman doing it like this. I don't like him sounding like a coward. I would rather him have said, yo, I didn't like that style. I think, I thought I was up for the job. I could do what they did, but at the end of the day, I can't do what Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith did. It's not my style to talk to people. I don't want to belittle you to get my point across. I'd rather just, have a conversation with people that I like to talk to, which is what we do here on ALLBALL TV, favorite perspective channel. However you found us, that's what we do. If I don't like to talk to you, don't be mad and don't get offended. And some people I really like to talk to, but we can't talk because life is lifing. Let's see if we got some more interesting shit to say.
5 days a week of having to react and just be like prisoner of the moment stuff.
The issue with that show is this. What is a hot take? A hot take is a counterintuitive conclusion that on TV, you're going to just state your conclusion. You do analysis about a subject. You come to a conclusion that's counter.
Wait, what? Hold on. Yeah, night goes store, bad loss tonight. A counterintuitive position. Sometimes you got to Google stuff. Counterintuitive. A hot take is a counterintuitive. It means something is contrary to common sense or intuition. It describes ideas, actions, or findings that seem illogical or at first glance because they go against what one would normally expect. ALLBALL TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.